This is my friend Nina.
Oh. I can't hear. Can you hear me? Can't hear.
Can you hear me, Stephanie?
I can now. Yes, thank you.
Hold on. Just hold on. I'll get this. Can you hear me, Stephanie?
I can, thank you.
Let me plug you in. Check.
Check back.
We're going to get a little bit of feedback, so let me shut you down.
Okay.
Stephanie, feel free to start and introduce yourself to the group.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Stephanie Meeks. I'm from sunny sort of Columbus right now, and I'm working at ODE as the Director of Integrated Technology and working on establishing Future Ready in Ohio to align and connect all of our work. There should be applause right now. Are you still able to hear me?
Yeah, Stephanie, we can hear you fine. We just got some feedback, so I'm going to be shutting mics off.
Okay, great. I assume that you all have the agenda. Could you give me like a thumbs up or something if you all have the agenda? Okay. What I'd like to do is take you through a couple parts of that. So if I click on the agenda, can you then see the agenda up there? I'm sorry, I'm not getting any feedback, so I'm not sure what you're seeing.
Stephanie, we're in the process of getting the agenda. Stephanie, if you want to move ahead, I'm going to plug you back in. We're having a feedback issue, so in order to not use up too much of your time,
Okay.
we'll give you verbal cues if we hear what you're saying.
If I click on the different tabs, you'll just be able to see everything?
Well, right now you've got to share your screen.
So
right now we see you.
Okay. Hold on. Whoa. Sorry about that. Oh, technology is so fun. I'm not sure what's happening.
She's getting there. That's the first good thing.
Jeff, can you help me out here? Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me now, Stephanie?
I can't. Now I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Check.
Yes, I can. So if I click on the tab,
You're going to go over to the side of your screen, Stephanie, all the way to the left,
yep.
and you're going to see there's a chat room. Below that, you see screen share. It's a green button with an arrow. And if
I
you
did
click
that
on that,
before, and then the screen exploded when I did that.
well, you're going to, at that point, you're going to need to just go on your screen. You're going to need to minimize your screen and find the screen you want to go to.
Okay.
Okay? So let's.
Well, I'm on the screen, but I have different tabs open. So can I just click on the tabs?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see the agenda now, correct?
No, we cannot, because I don't think you went to screen share.
Well, I did. Okay, let's try again.
There. Okay, now minimize your Hangout window.
I'm sorry. How?
That's all right. There, we're getting better. We're getting close.
Okay, what do you see now?
We see your email that I sent you.
Oh my. It just keeps exploding in various screens here.
Well, you were fine on the email. The minute you go back to the Google Hangout window, that's when you go to the infinity.
Okay.
So whatever you clicked on.
I clicked on the agenda tab.
Oh, there. We're at the agenda. Okay.
Okay.
We're there.
All right. Phew. All right. So, Future Ready Ohio is a partnership that we established with National Future Ready, and we've become a state partner. What I did in the agenda is include different links and resources for you. I'm just going to quickly take you through those. You can look at them on your own, but I wanted to explain some things. The first thing we have is the Future Ready Ohio Framework for Personalized Learning. What the framework is about is planning for digital learning in your districts from a core perspective. It's not what you're going to do every day in the classroom so much as a district level vision transformation plan. And it's a free resource that anybody can use. And we have a lot of Ohio districts involved in the work. So you are free to peruse this website as you can. There's a lot of resources here. And then the next resource is blogs that I have done for ODE, and they're all about using the Future Ready resources. Okay, so all the future blogs will be about how to use those in districts or in your own leadership growth. The third link is the Future Ready program, specifically geared towards instructional coaches, and I think this would be very powerful for you. to use in your work. There are resources, advisors listed, thought partners, and different events. But I think the most powerful thing is any Future Ready School instructional coach can follow this framework to help inform your work. So the Future Ready framework is a series of gears that allows you to think through all the different elements needed when you're planning to do any sort of transformation around digital learning or personalized learning. And this is a specific framework just for instructional coaches. And it outlines the behaviors for each of the gears that are geared towards supporting that future ready work. So I think you could have a lot of future discussions in your Northeast TILO group around each of the gears and what your particular role would be in supporting those gears. Does that make sense? I hope. And lastly, right here on this link is a bit.ly that will take you to the Future Ready Schools Ohio information sheet. If you want more information, if you want to be included in upcoming newsletters, etc., you can fill this in. We use this at OETC, so you may already have done it. You don't need to review it, but we're going to be looking at sending out monthly newsletters, etc. I think that as you move forward, I would like to come in person if I can to one of your meetings. Feel free to reach out to me anytime with any questions you have. And Jeff has a really good understanding of Future Ready. He was at a national institute. And the national institutes are put on by Future Ready National. And we will be hosting one in Ohio September 10th and 11th at Mid-Ohio ES. So I hope you put that on your calendars now to prepare to bring a team and getting your district involved in coming to that.
Stephanie, could you, I went to the Future Ready training, and
right.
I think one of the things that I ran into was the whole, could you, and I don't want to pressure you on, but talk a little bit more about that whole gear.
The framework,
I think that's
the framework in general?
Yes.
Yep, sure.
That would be great, because I think we've got a mix of everybody here today, Stephanie. So I think they need to know somewhere in there they fit just on a general level that where they fit in that gear.
Right. So if we look at
framework, I'm sorry.
Yeah. If we look at the Future Ready schools in general, about the effort, they have come up with a framework that helps you to understand and work through all the decisions needed when you make digital changes in your district. And it's very systematic. It's outlined in 8 areas. A lot of times we think, oh, we're going one-to-one. Well, what does that actually mean? Right? That's about infrastructure. All right, what about the curriculum? What about the professional learning? The budget and resources. Perhaps you have invested all this money in, devices, but in 3 years you're going to be able to replace them. What are you doing to make sure that your teachers understand how this can transform learning for their schools? And I think as instructional technology folks, your world will live a lot here with the professionalized learning, how to do it. So, and if we look at the very first learning approach here, it's building trust and sharing with students and teachers on using these tools. So I am literally trying to do 2 days worth of stuff in 5 minutes. So we need to really delve into this. But I think just to build some initial understandings, all the resources that I gave you, and we can certainly follow up with that.
You didn't realize you were going to be Q&A time, Stephanie. I apologize.
No, that's fine. I just knew I had a limited amount of time, so I have until 11.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit. I mean, I know you talk within that framework, and oftentimes when I work with districts there, and I'm looking at you and then looking at the audience at the same time. How's that?
That's good.
They say to me, well, the Future Ready Schools applies. It's just teachers. It's just librarians. Can you talk a little bit about where each of those, you know, so everything from the superintendent to the principal to the tech coordinator, could you tell just an overview where each of those fit in? And I'm going to mute my mic.
The Future Ready framework is actually geared toward collaborative leadership. It starts at the top. So the superintendents, the district leadership team, they're the ones that go through initially and think of, make decisions about where they want to go. You can use the framework itself for strategic planning, for a 5-year plan for your district. So I think before we talk about, you know, classroom use of this, we have to talk about the leadership. And the leadership is the most important part of this to get it started. It can be started from different avenues, from instructional leadership, technology leadership, etc. But if you look at all of the gears, it's all surrounded by collaborative leadership. I have a picture of the gears back here, and this whole circle around it is collaborative leadership. It supports everything.
So Stephanie, in an ideal world,
yes,
you talk about strategic planning and letting Future Ready be the kind of the block for that. Can you, you know, have you worked with some districts now, or districts maybe not in Ohio that have been part of this Future Ready? How did they kind of get started, and maybe where they are now? And you know, I don't want a menu,
right,
because obviously everyone does things differently.
Right. The way that most people get started is the superintendent signs the Future Ready pledge that they agree to work with these. Now, the Future Ready pledge does not mean that you are bound by anything. It means that you want to support this and move forward. And part of the work in Ohio right now is building that collaborative network of leaders, which we started at the 2 institutes in the fall, where we've had about 100 people in Ohio go through those institutes, and we literally just became a Future Ready partner in August. So this is all new. There are some districts who have done it before on their own, before we were a partner. Pickerington Local Schools in particular, Revere Local has done it, and there's actually a process where there's a link for that as well. It's called the dashboard. There's a 5-step process where first the superintendent agrees to support this, puts together a district leadership team. They do a district level assessment as to where they are with digital learning and visioning in the district. They get back a report, and that report allows them to do a gap analysis about which gear they are strong in and maybe which gear needs more support. And the idea is to try and align all the gears so that your budget and resources supports the curriculum, which supports professionalized learning, and everything is aligned.
So we have a mixed bag of tricks here, and I don't mean to say that in a derogatory way. You're not all tricks. How's that? So how would you, and I know you referenced it real quick, what are some next steps for this group? We're meeting again in May. So what would some next steps you would offer to the group? And then maybe where would you like to see, when we get together in May, the portion of the program where we talk about Future Ready, where would you like to see us for that May meeting?
I think individually the next step should be that the folks there explore the resources that I've shared and to try and build their understandings of it. The resources, especially for Future Ready National, there's video resources, etc. But what I might do is start with just looking at the ODE website, read some of the blogs about it. It outlines the thinking steps, because we're talking about transforming cultures here, not just, hey, this is something we signed up for. There's work that goes behind this. It's not just you take the pledge and automatically you're digitally transformed, but it will help you have those conversations. And I think the next step after understanding some of the resources for this group in particular will be to look at the instructional coach role. And I would be happy to help you guide conversations around that. And after those instructional coaches have more of an understanding, they can share with their district, share with the leadership team, talk to your superintendent, talk to your curriculum person. I don't know all the roles there, But I would definitely just start to get the word out. And there are going to be multiple events that we'll be hosting. So we're also going to be working with ESCs to help provide support, as well as the ed tech agencies.
I can relate, and I'll tell the group, when I went to the conference that I went to, the training in Michigan, and Stephanie, you were there too. The liveliest group and the most involved group was the librarians.
Yes.
So, and we have many librarians. Yes, exactly. I felt bad that I wasn't I was left out of librarian group. But I will also say that the instructional coach side, I got a lot of great information and a lot of great resources related to Future Ready and Future Ready schools. How many librarians do we have in the group right now? Yeah, Stephanie, we probably have about 10, 12 librarians in our meeting today.
Oh, that's awesome. Just as a background, OELMA, the Ohio Library Media Association, is officially a Future Ready partner, and I'm working with them in the library role. And as part of my job at ODE, I'm the liaison for OELMA, and I also have a library degree from Kent State. So, yay, librarians.
So you just, yeah, you got. You got more than a couple of your group excited here.
Yay!
So looking across the room, how many would you consider yourself instructional coaches in this group? So we probably have about 8 or 10 of those.
Okay.
What's the other area that we're looking at? Stephanie?
Technology leadership is another role.
Technology leadership, tech coordinators. We got a great mix of folks here. We probably have about 8 or 9 on the technology side of it. Next would be admin, correct?
I'm sorry?
Administrative side of it?
Yeah, there's a particular role for leaders as well. So the framework is its own entity, and how you think through that. Then there are different roles to support that framework that have their own framework to help with the thinking about it. So I shared.
How many folks here would consider themselves leaders?
I would hope everybody. Yeah, that's right.
But it's funny that the really meek ones, there's like 4 hands that went up because I think they worried about we'd pick them out.
No, we're good. I would
really great.
I like everybody. I think who's interested in this is probably in a leadership, whether you're leadership by definition or leadership by action. The people in this room clearly are forward thinkers and want to move things forward. So I would really suggest on your own to look at those resources that I shared in the agenda, and then maybe in May, if my schedule works out, I could be happy to come up and do workshops. And we're going to be doing a lot of trainings around the state, and we have support agencies. OSGA is an official partner. The Ed Techs are a partner. OELMA is a partner. COSIN Ohio is a partner. Info Ohio will be a partner. So all of these, Info Ohio actually already aligned all of their work to the Gears, which will be coming out soon. And I think that the more connections and alignment we have to our work to move visions forward, the more powerful this will be. I mean, Ohio for Ohio, right? We're all in this together to all help learning, and that's the power of collaboration.
All right. Are there any questions from the group? I know, Stephanie, I appreciate it. It is kind of, I use the term a lot, it's like 20 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag.
Yeah.
So it's a short and sweet, but we wanted to make sure we included that with this group and got you all thinking about where we take that next and how you take that into your school districts and how you begin that process. And we appreciate Stephanie's time. Any questions from the group, and I'll kind of relay them, or any questions at all? I can't believe you don't have any questions. Especially librarians. There are always questions.
I have one more comment if there's no more questions.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's no questions. You've handled everything.
Yay. I think that the most important part of this, it's not a mandate. It is used to inspire. It's not something inflicted on districts. I'm here as a support to help vision and transform. And I think that's another powerful piece of this. We remember this is an inspirational piece, not being inflicted on districts.
That's a great point, Stephanie. So Any last questions? So the best way, as Stephanie said, feel free to go to the ODE website. Find her under the Future Ready initiative. You'll find her information. Dates to remember: September 11th and 12th. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Oh, September 10th and 11th. I mean, yeah, September 10th and 11th.
Oh, 10th and 11th. Okay, and that's at Mid-Ohio ESC.
Mid-Ohio ESC, and we might be doing some really extra fun things there too. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think if you guys start thinking about being there already, and it's free. You only have to pay for your transportation. There's no cost for the National Institute, which is another pretty big, powerful piece. They even feed you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it will be national, but Ohio. It will be national, but Ohio gets kind of first crack at registering. So we need to get those in, and I can send you more information on signing up for that when that comes out, Jeff, and you can share it out. And then
that'd be wonderful.
All of the, please use the agenda. All of the links are a really good place to start with looking at things.
And as Stephanie explained, there's certain partners, and I just want to explain really quickly the Ohio Ed Tech agencies. And if you're not familiar with the Ohio Ed Tech agencies, there are 8 of them across the state of Ohio. Western Reserve PBS is one of them, Western Reserve Public Media. So we are working closely as part of that group with Stephanie as a Future Ready partner, much like InfOhio and COSIN and the ESCs and all those other folks that are working with Stephanie. So we're here to help too. So as you work your way through and you start having questions about Future Ready, connect with Stephanie, connect with me, and we'll get everyone connected, because that's what this is about. It's not a mandate.
Yep.
It's just a wonderful, great suggestion, and it's great to get everyone thinking and kind of moving forward in the same direction. So with that, Stephanie, anything else?
When's your next meeting? You said in May?
May 18th. It's a Friday.
I'm gonna put that on my calendar.
Awesome.
Okay. Anything else?
I think we're great, Stephanie. Thank you so much today for your time, and we appreciate all your information, and we're looking forward to moving forward.
Yeah, and congratulations on your inaugural meeting. It's very exciting. All right.
Thank you. If it wasn't for you starting this group, we wouldn't have this meeting.
Well, actually, it was started really by Carrie Rathsack at Rossford Schools, and that group, I just kind of helped move it forward.
Yes.
All right.
Well, sometimes it takes that person to roll that stone. Get us started. Okay. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yep. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye.
All right, so you've all met each other, and I just wanted to show you just a visual, if you haven't looked on it, where we are all located in Ohio. This is just a screenshot of the map that was created. I just put locations in a spreadsheet and used mapping to sheets or something like that. We'll have on.
So okay. That's how I did that. What I think would be really cool is seeing it now and then watching it grow and having a bunch of little things put in there. So that's I took a bunch of screenshots because people kept adding up.
I want to keep adding in their schools and stuff. So I have like 5 of them, I think.
We just did that. All right. So I'm Heather Smith. I work at Western Reserve Public Media. I was hired at the end of November. 2 days after I got hired, I asked Jeff if we could do a Northeast TILO group, and he said okay. So that's why we're here. I asked him if I could do something. He said yes, and I went with it.
It's pretty amazing that I have 50 people here.
Because I tell him all the time,
like, I'm not really doing it.
It sounds like it would be a great thing. So let's just see what we. And he's very supportive.
So thank you for all coming. This is pretty amazing. It's pretty quiet in the building normally.
I'm just going to go over some of our services here. And since you are all leaders of some sort in your school, I'm sure you can think of educators that you really work with that need extra help or need classes. I'm going to share with you things to do, some upcoming events that we have, and feel free to interrupt me if you need to anytime. say anything. This is not here. This is actually stolen. It was given to me from the Southwest Kilo group, and I just kind of reworded it and put it in here.
Now they meet monthly. We're not to that point yet.
Because I got to figure out what exactly this is. So May, you kind of put on the calendar. So hopefully you're able to come back in May and just progress from there. This is definitely not something that I want you to come to and then I do stuff. It's something I don't know I'm going next time because I need your input. So we'll talk about that. But this is all you guys, like what we do. So you guys can read through this if you want. I'm not going to go through it. You'll have it. This is just a map of the showed you. But it's like live updates. It's not just the screenshot picture. I don't think there's much in here. I just have these important links in here. They have there. Wow. You can check those. We might change some of those important links when we find out important links to us. So we have our presenters today. Stephanie, you're going to talk to her. You're going to talk to me. NETILO Meeting is going to talk about those stuff. And hopefully you guys are going to talk to. I don't want to do all of it. And then next door is backing actually. They have some really cool tech toys. So when we're all finished and we're eating, and you don't have to stay, but as an added bonus, she has like Easy Robot, she has Cubeless, she has Hovercraft. She has some different things that you guys can go play with. Okay, and those are just different tools in schools and to interact with some of them. Hey, they have these things that we're doing coding. This goes right like that. So you can play. It's a little play after lunch. Okay. Going back. Here we are, and I think our stuff is open. If it will load. Okay. Okay.
Dial up speed, you know.
I get that. Kids don't know. All right. So this is kind of what we are. We're at one of the 8 EdTech agencies. We are an affiliate of ISTE through ITIP. And I'm sending the great Jeff is the founder of ITIP. If you're not familiar with ITIP, I think I have a link in here. There's teacher grants that are available to get funding and stuff in your classroom and turn into a lesson plan that you have created not online somewhere. And it has some instructions to send it in. They have a rubric, they look through it, and they give awards to some different educators. It's like $500. Last time they only had like 12 people turn them in, which is crazy. So you're winning. You're good if there's not very many people. I just want to let you know because you could be winning. Let's go. Okay. If you are on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google+, we put things out on social media. So if you're following us, we have like I put reminders for upcoming events. On Mondays, I do a multimedia Monday, which will be something that comes from our website. What else? Tuesday is Tipsy Tuesday. So I send out a tip. And it might be an application or something that you can just be a general tip. Sometimes I just look in the world and see what kind of tips I can throw out there. And I go with it. Wednesday, not much unless I'm advertising the baby of upcoming class. So I normally put out some class advertisements on Facebook, things that are coming up. Thursday, I do like a technology history thing on that day. So it's just kind of interesting. I find interesting to see how big computer used to be and how it's been. So like the IBM XT in 1984 was like $5,000, and it's like something you wouldn't even pay $20 for, I don't think, unless you were like collecting. It's pretty crazy. That'll be coming out soon. And then Friday, Friday. It's only an app. Happy Friday. Okay, so follow us here. These are all links you can connect with us if you would like. Out of all the EdTech agencies, we are the largest viewing area with 5.1 million viewers. Here's where they are all kind of located in different EdTech agencies. What we do, so technology trainer, we do course developing, I have which is affiliated with this week. We have people certified staff, people coach, all that happy stuff. So if you need any of those things, let us know. We can come in your school. We can develop trainings to have here. You know, with your input, you let us know what you need. We'll help you do it. Here we are. Jeff, Anthony, myself. Any questions about that? No? Okay. There. Oh, and Anthony is that is the best style people. In his picture back there, I don't know if you noticed. It's his best. This is and that's guideline if you want to put a grant for up to $500. And do you know the next
deadline is going to be May 15th. So if you go to www.activeohio.org and go to one of the
right there.
teacher grant. We've now gone through 6 cycles, and so we just got our last 4 recipients. I can't remember. And Heather's right. I mean, the problem is, and you know what it's like. Everyone waits the last minute to send in. You know, what we require, the Queen's Week of IT, is that they require a lesson plan. We require a video of you currently working in your classroom integrating technology. And then just kind of a breakdown of what you're going to get, and what you're going to buy with $500. You know, $500 is a lot. We understand that as IT Ohio, but we don't want to begin to make a big difference. I think we can do a little bit of time. Our hope is that eventually that we're going to be giving away somewhere around 10 of these a year, and the grant cycles go 6 months. So within a 1-year period, there's 2 grant cycles. So please check that out. We've had some wonderful folks that have applied, and I'd really love to see people do that. Yes.
Is it exclusive to classroom teachers, or as a media specialist, if we had some type of reading program that we wanted a piece of technology, or like a reading club or something, or is it exclusive to a classroom setting?
If you related then I'm going to think we got somebody recently that created a lesson plan related to that, connected it. That's fine. And if you do, you know, there's benefits in being the president of an organization. So if you find that you're being turned away, just call me. We'll figure it out. But it has to be connected to a lesson plan. Our hope is, especially hope is that we'll have. We want to create a repository of all these lesson plans. I've been doing this because I'm like my camera guy too. So I want to have interviews with all of the recipients and how they utilize their money, what they got out of it, what their students got out of it. And we're going to build this repository. So I'm hoping a year from now, we're all going to be talking about, I'll be able to say, the ITIS like teacher grant, but at the bottom of it, you're going to find all of these former grant recipients and all of their lesson plans and their videos and all of those things. Because ultimately, that's what I hope. And we just drive Yes. Yes. So what we ask for you to come in, kind of a breakdown of the equipment. Some folks, I think, pay for subscriptions to something. I'm not sure something about it here every day, so I'm remembering what the last applicants. But I know some folks bought prescriptions. And prescriptions. And then they share. Subscriptions. That's any other questions about teacher grant? The other thing that I took Ohio does is just, we always have to really short, because every year we're fortunate to have one person here that has received an award. We have a Temple Ohio Outstanding Technical Teacher and an Outstanding Administrator Award every year. And normally nominations in a normal world, nominations usually open up right around December, but we try to get it earlier every year. And we have some wonderful folks doing some wonderful things. We give those awards out at Tech Conference, and if you win the award, you get a chance to Tech Conference, registrations covered, all those things. So keep that in mind. That's another service that I offer gets really underused. And also,
I give 35 million of that on the separate tax. Yes,
May and what I tell you about, I forgot how I got here this morning. May and I think it's January. But if you go on the website, it's right there. If you work your way by that teacher grant, I took a lot of that. Because I can see from the bar. It actually give you the grant site. How about this? I'll check. Yep. And so November 15th is the fall deadline, and May 15th is what we'll call the, anything you know that when you can apply, when you'll be notified, when the work has to be done, and all that stuff. Obviously, the main one's going to be more along the lines of doing something when school starts, whereas the November one is more about something that you're going to do probably January through March.
All right. That is
ITIP, and you want me to introduce our ITIP recip teacher?
David Glazer, I referenced that. He was our recent award winner for the outstanding tech using teacher from the department.
Does anybody remember
the power from the village thing this morning? Were you paying attention? Just kidding.
Do you want to tell them like you do with class?
This was really cool.
This is right. You were nominated, and I think it's really awesome.
David is unable to fill his duties.
So I'll try to make this review complex. I teach at Barber High School. I'm third year there. Started a STEM program, started with 3D design and 3D printing, and that still carries on. I teach 4 classes of that. This year we started a new class. We call it STEM VR, and we had 15 Oculus Rifts and gaming laptops to run them. It was all done through grant. So don't anybody get too excited about my grant budget or my tech budget, because it's non-existent. But the idea behind it was not to keep the virtual reality stuff inside of my classroom where I have 19 students, but it was to train those 19 students to look at the virtual reality educational applications that are out there, evaluate them, find things that we could use within the framework of whether it's biology classes or systems classes or anatomy and physiology classes for health or whatever it may be, and then design some lessons and work with regular educational classroom teachers. For instance, last week we spent 2 days working with our anatomy and physiology students who are part of our nursing program, fire and EMT programs, and also just kids who take anatomy and physiology, and they were reviewing certain bone structures and stuff for a test. So they did that for 2 days, location, identification, description, and things like that. And then we're kind of testing it out. The next 2 days, we're working with the same kids as an introductory activity on their next unit. And then we're going to kind of compare what the kids thought worked well and what they didn't work well. But it's more about training my students to become peer mentors and technology experts, not so much content experts, to work with and implementation of technologies. That's kind of where we're at and what we're trying to do.
Anybody have questions for him? You can do that later. Okay.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What we started doing, I took liberties in the first one that we did, David. In our print newsletter that I send out as Western Reserve PBS, we're beginning to do what we call a Northeast NETILO Spotlight. So of course, our hope is that the Northeast NETILO website that we have off of our Western Reserve publicmedia.org website will begin also to have resources related to the meeting. So it'll be things like the agendas and all those things. But also the need your help. What I want to do is begin to develop a print rotation quarterly. I have a print, and I want to do this Northeast NETILO Spotlight. Maybe it is, didn't, unbeknownst to him, I told him already that I was going to do this. But I need your help as a group to begin to look at folks that you want to begin the spotlight as far as the Northeast TILO spotlight for my main newsletter. So somehow or another, we'll keep connected, and if you've got some folks, I feel better right now because, you know, the print world has its limitations, right? So what I do, literally all the days that I have to try to fit in a paragraph and a half. And so I've since done that. But what we also want to do is eventually draw those people to the Northeast TILO site that will have videos of David's class and other things like that. So keep that in mind when you leave here today. Who do you think might be out there that I could highlight as the next Northeast TILO spotlight?
All right, so while I'm going over what we have on your table, this is just a little newsletter with some of the upcoming classes. This is a link, and all these are links to our upcoming classes. So if you look through those, if you have teachers in your building that they can benefit from any of them, you know they're here. They can check those out more. We rotate them a little bit, we change them. Feel free to you can put one of these in your bag. These bags are here to take whatever resources you want to take with you. The other one we talked about, this is for the iTip that's coming up May 14th and 15th. A reminder of the iTip event. You want to get one of those on your table.
And so you know, it was hard to express that at the OETC. But we're back in Columbus again. We're back at the student union. But one thing I love, I've told Heather this more than a couple hundred times. I've always loved the talking Google Summit. We truly listen to your evaluations. And I know there was a lot of issues in Columbus the last time we were there. Certainly embrace those. I was surprised. I thought lunch was horrible. And there was no one was thinking about lunch. That's normally the lunch and the temperature of the room are the two things we look for. But there was a lot of issues. So what we try to do is address those issues. So if for the Columbus Student Union, parking is free. There's a bank of hotels, and I think that's on that card. There's 5 hotels that are offering a conference rate. There'll be shuttles for those hotels for free. So if you don't want to drive over, you can do that. And the really cool event we've got coming up on Monday night, you check out what you can do when you deal with Google, right? Communicating, collaborating, thinking. Well, we've integrated an event with Columbus, and it's a escape room. And so that's separate, paid for it yourself event. It's like $27. It's Monday night. It starts around. It'll start around 6 o'clock, but as the demand, as I say that, not to mess it up. But as the demand increases, we may add some earlier or later ones. But keep that in mind. Anthony, you're going to visit.
No, that's on purpose.
So we got that with Games Cafe. So your $27 is 2 drinks and a 1-hour escape experience with 10 of your closest friends. Heather was part of it. We went to OETC and the iTip went for the escape experience. And I'm not bragging or anything, but we did it like 8 minutes to spare. I was absolutely no help. The beginning of it was a guy in a box that was locked in, and if it would have just been me, that poor guy probably would still be in there. So keep that in mind. So we try to add these things each year, and obviously, familiar with Cash, been in educational technology any amount of time. She's our keynote, and she's doing 2 featured sessions. The general session listing right now is up on the conference website. So if you go to itipohio.org, and go to the Google Summit, and we're hoping that we have over 150 proposals for presentations, which is awesome. Last year we did 120, and we thought that was great. So we're going to have to read that down, and so the hope is that there'll be the actual program sessions will be up on that website. You know, considering how I'm doing it, I can easily say, let's just do it mid-March. But I hope it's mid-March, because I'm not responsible for that. So by mid-March, St. Patrick's Day, luck of the Irish, maybe you won't be able to actually see the breakdown of the presentation.
All right. You'll have a coupon on your table from today. Next time you want to do any of these classes, not like the free ones, because they're already free. But this one's for bring a BYOB, bring your own buddy. You can drink the beer you're out. But bring your own buddy, and there's basically 2 for the price one. So taking that, and then we have a couple of teachers, they need like a spreadsheet class, and we have theirs coming up, or whatever. You know, probably use a coupon and get a little discount. One person's free.
And then also for folks that are interested in taking courses here. So if you've got some teachers and maybe, you may know someone that wants to take a class, or anyone else take a class now in mid-June. At that point, if they take a full price class, they can then bring everybody for the next class. So it's just kind of a way to get folks through the door and see the kind of things that we're doing here. And like I said, as Heather said, because you're a member of Northeast TILO and you go to the meeting, you're already in the program. Feel free to grab your teachers and tell them to come to a class, and it's 2 for 1.
I just want to talk about like a couple of classes I'm going to be offering. Things. Those of you that know me know I know spreadsheets. Not your teachers are not those spreadsheets. It's something you need to be thinking about doing. I have curriculum for all areas of it, all content areas. That's no problem. I also really want to focus on 2 other ones that I'm going into a perception session. Teach above your head. The motto for that is if you feel completely in control, comfortable with what you're teaching, teach your students about your past and not what they need for their future. And it's going to be a whole day with that and helping teachers to move beyond that. I don't know it, so I can't teach it. Moving them past that. And then the sessions that are called boost camps. No, it's not boot camps. They're boost camps. It's basically going to be tips and tricks for making those things work better. So if you are using those Google tools and you want to learn some tips and tricks for making them better, and one of the advantages of being Google, like I've been doing Google for 15 years now. We're the first couple of districts in the state of Ohio, not because we're forward-thinking, we're small, we're cheap. So I only had to ask one person permission. So the session will not feature the tricks and tips of them. So if you're interested in having your features or you still want to attend those are going to be about.
All right, and then last thing I have here, let me find it. Oh, right here. Cyber Chase. Have any of you heard of Cyber Chase? PBS show, website, map. Okay. This is for teachers grades 1 through 3. Okay. So what it is, it's a text to, it's like 4 text messages that they will get to sign up. And what they do is send 1 text a week with some resources about Cyber Chase. We have to get 150 people signed up for this. It's just something like something we went in for a grant.
The producer of Cyber Chase is WNET out of New York, and they offer grants to 10 public television stations. We just applied. And it was one of those deals where it seemed like something cool to do, and it kind of fit our mission. And you know, I think you're sometimes you get it. We got it. So Heather and I are talking, and we're going, oh, 150 teachers. Well, we're hoping, and of course, Heather's going to, that connects back with you. There's going to be a training session if you want. If you've got teachers that want to attend, grades 1 through 3. Their commitment is pretty simple. They just going to commit to receiving a text a week that's going to send them resources. We broadcast. I hope everyone here gets Westminster PBS. Because everyone, it's that old joke about we receive it, but we don't get it. But you receive it and get it, correct? Okay, good. So yeah, if you receive it and you get it, we are that on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. And there'll be an interconnect between those resources you get as a teacher that are texted to you and that so that they can take in their classroom. And that's commitment, pretty simple stuff.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a training probably in April related to, and not 150, all 150 teachers don't have to attend that training. We're hoping to get 40 to 50, much like this crowd. That'll talk about those resources and the Cyber Chase resources. And then there's a commitment between now and the end of school to get 4 texts. I'll send you 4 texts, and I'll give you, so if you can do that, take that back. Like I said, if you get 3 teachers to be involved, then we're golden.
That means you need to go find 2 or 3 people. Like, hey, you can do this. It's free. You can implement the text.
It's
I mean, you can look at it. And you might go, wow, it's really great. I didn't know that. I have my kids on this Cyber Chase thing and do something. So It won't hurt you. It's not a million texts over a year. It's just 4 texts 1 week. It's not too annoying. I don't think. I think it's kind of a cool new way to send out PD, you know, because you have a lot of people that are into texting. So it's just like a new form, text PD. So that's what this is. So I totally appreciate any help that you would want to give. You know, any teachers grades 1 through 3 that have, most of them do. This is totally free.
I'm not a big math person, so Cyber Chase had me a little lost sometimes. Because grades 3 and 3 is a little above my head. But yeah, keep that taking it back. I think we'd love it.
And so the rest of the upcoming links, so we have there's in Cleveland, Vermont, that's like really close. Look there, there's a link to that. The Google Summit Project, if you're looking to register for that, the link is on here, and the NEOTech on March 22nd, and the link is on here. It's closed. Don't use it. We're gonna take that off of here.
How many people sign up for NEOTech? Yeah, pretty much you can sign up. That registration closes literally.
Look at that.
I guess we included in our stuff because this is how I back that up. We included in our stuff because we want to make sure you're reminded that you signed up and you got contact.
By the way, there's 2 more sessions, 2 more those type of regional conferences coming up over the next 6 months. There'll be a SMART conference in August. It's usually the first Friday in August, so the SMART conference begin it. It's the same as similar to the NEOTech conference, it fills up immediately, so you have to be watching for that. And then there's also another conference, a little bit of a drive, but it's not called the Curated Content Conference. It's usually the first week in June. It's held in Toledo and the Wayne School District. Chris Hamady does that. There's a small fee for that, but it's also a great see the fabulous studio art. You have an extra day if you want to do it. So it's great conferences. Sometime the first 2 weeks.
Awesome. You send me the links. I'll add them on, and they'll be on your agenda at the next meeting or before. I will give it to you if you want. So I'm going to have my partner cry with the Northeast TILO because she just seemed to communicate back to me really well, and I was like, I need her to be my partner. I asked her, and it felt like asking a prom date, you know, I'm like, so weird, like, I asked her, and like, she wanted to do this. And she was very willing, very good communication, so you know, the people that you email, the ones that communicate with you back, you're like, yes, they're communicating with me, and other people are like, so communication skills, and Angela got back to me, so I asked her, and she said, yes, I will be your partner, so I'm going to feel very good, and I'm going to turn over the floor to her, and she can come on up and go over. Yeah, come on up. Show your stuff.
Okay. So Heather had asked me about what to do during your meeting and some things we could do to kind of talk about topics. Because I think that's the beauty of this group is that we have a great thinking right here in front of us. So Heather and I and a couple other instructors in the area that I communicate with, I basically put something out and said, what are some hot topics that we can talk about as a group and kind of get some takeaways from? So they, this is my idea, just repeat these ideas, and I think these are relevant to things that are happening in our schools. So I thought what we could kind of just discuss these topics briefly and kind of brainstorm some ideas and things that you're doing in your district, and maybe get some ideas or some takeaways. So the first topic is snow days, which hopefully we don't have any more snow days this school year. Snow days is like a hot topic, and I know I'm on there all the time, and I saw a lot of people posting near the end, kind of where we're getting close to the people are running out of snow days in some districts about ideas and blizzard bags and those type of things. So we just kind of want to talk a little bit about what you guys do to connect students to your teachers on snow days, if you're doing anything, and also teacher PD during snow days. There are some districts out there that are now having teachers either participate in webinars, do activities at home, that type of thing. So if we could talk a little bit about that, does anyone have anything to share about that topic?
I'll talk about it's an art contract actually that we have the standard number of days that we have, plus 3 additional blizzard bags. And what a lot of people don't understand is blizzard bags actually in Ohio Class code. So there are there are parameters and rules you have to follow to do this. The union has to sign off on them, superintendent has to agree to them. You have to have your online lessons posted by November 1st. So there are a lot of things besides just saying, oh, we're going to do blizzard bags, but our superintendent pushed for it actually in negotiations. Because we're a 1-1 district, and he's saying, if we're 1-1, we want to make sure that those kids have opportunities outside, and we're pushing that we're using the technology outside. So each teacher has to have them up. We have to have 3 of them ready to go. And they change. Just because they put something up in November does not mean they can't change it and make it relevant for what's going on in class. Yeah. Arlington?
And then all of your kids, K-12, get their devices.
No. So, as this is another piece in the higher box, but they actually have a time frame that they have to finish those assignments. My son's in 5th grade, twice. But he had a time frame to have those, I think, like 2 weeks to get those assignments back in. And it worked out really well with the teachers. It helps it on the tech integration. So in all the weeks that my son did the assignments, Google Docs or Sheets or whatever the assignment was on, send them right to the teacher.
Copies too, because I know we did one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we, at Sandy Valley, we have kids that live in rural areas that they can't get cable or Wi-Fi, so we do hard copies too.
So it's not
that problem when teachers do exclusively online activities that then the kids are trying to scramble to school to get it done.
I'm the district tech integration, and I cannot get internet at my house.
Okay.
So you're not. So and that's part of it, and that's what you would like. So when you kick it back, you get worked about.
And back to the Ohio Revised Code. That's part of the Ohio Revised Code is that you have an option to do it printed, and they've got an X amount. You know, being a former local district board member, I don't know if you mentioned that, but that policy has to be approved by your board too.
Yes.
So it works its way through the channel. It's more than just, like you said, hey, we're going to do blizzard bags. No, it's more than that.
So that parents understand. There's a lot of parents that aren't at home during the day when kids are working on that, or they don't understand my child has 2 weeks, or is it due the next day, or yes, the teachers, there's a teacher part of it that the teachers understand, but you also want to make sure the parents know exactly what is happening and what the expectation is, so that there's not a lot from on your end once you come back. And
our superintendent did an all-call prior to, you know, saying, hey, parents, just so you know, we're exhausting our studies. The next one is an online work day. They gave a blizzard bag, and then at that morning, with the call off, you put it in there.
well, and I mean, like prior to that, like at the beginning of the school year,
This one worked here for it, so.
I was gonna say, we did an all call and said, here's the deal, like, here's when they're due, and make sure that you get it in, and so on and so forth.
So question, is it, you guys are close to the minute, to the hours, or is it in a contract situation?
Okay, I'm also the union president, so I speak because a lot of teachers say, what about the hour? That does not pertain to teachers. That is a student thing. So, I mean, and it's in our contract, so.
I remember regardless.
Yeah, I mean, we're not, no, I don't think anybody can stay close to this, that time, right? But it's just a requirement.
Yeah.
That we put on.
That makes sense.
Just on the back end of things, I'm in Minerva, and we have a Google site that's linked to our webpage, and our superintendent, when he does the all-call, will advise, you know, the parents when those, you know, when we go over our hours, or the kids need those. But because our students all have Google accounts, everything is just shared in Google Drive. It's all Google. So it works pretty well. We haven't gone over yet this year, but and Emily does tell them what you do. You do some pretty creative things with yours, don't you? Like a lot of our teachers post their Google Classroom links for their blizzard bags.
So then that way it can fluctuate depending on where they are in the school year.
I'm actually the bad teacher that didn't even email the tech integration person just because my kids use Google Classroom. So they know that they don't need Google Classroom and that their things are posted in the About tab. I don't put them in the busy feed because it would just get the timeline gets too confusing, I think, but, yeah, I mean, usually mine are like, I'm an English teacher, so mine's usually like an article question. And that's pretty much it, or a video and something to go with it.
Ask a question. How many districts in here do a blizzard bag? I'm just curious.
How many
How many districts do a blizzard bag?
And if you didn't know, Ohio has already made blizzard bag lessons available for teachers. So if you could share that information out, you can save your teachers some time. Okay, let's move on to Genius Hour. Genius Hour on 20% time is something a lot of teachers are trying to integrate more in their classroom. And I kind of wanted, when I spoke with Joyce, was your question, Joyce, from Revere? So basically, I took suggestions or how it's working in your building. Anyone doing Genius Hour? Leslie, what does it look like in your building?
I can't speak too much to it, but I do know that in the 7th and 8th building, and in both the 7th and the 8th grade, we have, well, across the building, we have WIN, what I need, and it's our first period of the day, and it's a 30-minute period. Most of our other periods are 46 minutes. So it's a 30-minute period, and it's flexible in that kids can move around the team, and then usually one team teacher at a time is doing some sort of Genius Hour. I know science really gets involved in it, so all of our science teachers at some point are doing Genius Hour. The kids are using that flexible time to focus on whatever project they've chosen, and then at the end of that, there's a culminating day where those projects are presented in the meeting center. So everything is set up, the entire team rotates through during the day, and every kid demonstrates what they did with their project. And some of them are really amazing. Some of them are not so amazing, depending on how ambitious the kid is. But I couldn't believe some of the tech stuff that they figured out on their own. One kid made a self-watering bowl for his dog that had it was mechanical, like it was a machine operated where when the dog hit a certain thing, the water would come out, but only so much. There was a little sensor. It was awesome. It was an 8th grade project. Very cool.
What is the cycle? How long do they have? I know it's 30 minutes, but how many weekdays, whatever is devoted to that?
I'm not positive, but I do think that they take an entire 9 week period where they're focused on that Genius Hour.
And we do it in one of our buildings. It's just a 6th grade project, but it starts in the fall and ends in the spring. So it goes basically the whole school year, and it's 1 hour. And the students, they do kind of an inventory, like an assessment of their, their passions first. Their, things they like to do just for fun, and then they turn that into a project, and then they present in May in their classrooms, and we kind of do to the different classrooms and hear about their projects. So that's a great idea. And, I think one of our big roles as coaches or librarians or whatever is really to kind of help supplement the teachers, give them those resources, give, help with those students that's really, really difficult. So there are some students that pick topics that are extremely difficult to research and to become an expert on. So being there to kind of help supplement them with resources is one of the things that I think we can easily help with.
I see you guys have a training session with Thrively, but Thrively has got a whole Genius Hour, which I've just introduced to my staff to kind of help my staff learn that so that it guides them through the whole process. And I want to say it's an hour on course. So I know the initial part of Thrively is free. We think that Thrively, this part is the part of the paid part, which is $3 per student. If we're using the paper for that. But that one, it starts out with a strength-based assessment. That's all free. That's very helpful for the kids, and we have lots and lots of that happening. So the resources are already curated for a lot of the kids, which is kind of nice, because they start going out on YouTube, and there's a reason why YouTube is blocked, some parts of it. So I like that because the product is kind of curated for the kids, and it's kind of walking them through simple things on how to write an email, how to reach out to a professional, how to, it guides them through all that. So we haven't implemented it this year. We just did it this week, but we'll definitely do that next year.
How do you organize that time? Is there one person that, like I'm thinking, are they all doing it in the classroom during that hour? So each teacher is facilitating where students are in the process. So kids just aren't sitting there kind of on their own.
Right. Yeah. It's during kind of an intervention period in our building, and so they kind of just during that period, and then they divide the students up, but by teacher, and then there's like an agenda they post on the board. So today's this is kind of by the end of the day, we want you to make sure that you have X, Y, and Z done, just to check in. You know what I mean?
But every teacher is doing. Yeah. So someone provided that all of that information to all the teachers, so they work on their own.
Right. They all work together. Yeah, they work together like in team time, that type of thing, and kind of made a rubric, list, all that stuff as a group. Anything else, Virginia? Okay, coding class. So coding is kind of a big thing right now, as most of you know. And I'm interested to find out Zanesville School is actually integrating, or they're talking about integrating a coding class as a foreign language at their high school. So I think it's interesting. So students can take that as a foreign language elective. So on that topic, if we can share a little bit about maybe how early you're integrating coding classes. They could be structured classes or just integrated in the classroom, however. And then if it kind of goes through all the way up to the high school, what that looks like in your district. And that?
So we have, we're just at Environment Science Academy, we're 6 through 12, and our 6, 7, and 8 each have like a 90 rotation. And we're using code.org, which we absolutely love, and then Spiro robots. Really excited for that too. But that's also time for us to teach them Google Apps and as well. So it's not strictly just coding, it's truly, and code.org does that as well. We can do digital citizenship as well. And then at the high school, our 9th graders all have a technology programming class, and then after that we do it based on electives, and we do a lot of our electives are through state.
We do the freeway at Field because we don't have a lot of money to spend. So at the elementary, one elementary is a Leader in Me school. So we have these lead groups, like our little exploration groups, and mine's the technology one. And we've been doing some coding things in that with code.org and the Ozobots and the Spiro robots. So we expose them to that. The 8th graders at the middle school have it as an elective. The technology teacher is providing that. And then we are looking at hiring for the high school a coding and web design teacher. So if anybody wants that job, let me know. And they're looking at adding that as electives for next year. So we're trying to build what we have, but very limited. We're working on it. Oh, yeah.
I've also been approached by the gym from Ohio that does not training. If that's something that this, as we're talking about coding, would like to see me reach out and have him here and offer that back here, please let me know. You can just send me an email if you're interested or whatever, and I'll keep connected with this group. If I get enough folks that say, yeah, we beat, I don't know dates or anything yet, but I've captured all of you, so to speak, email-wise, and we can certainly reach out and do that. I'm thinking it would probably be in April, May. And I know that there isn't any good windows for anything anymore.
Okay, so we go through, and then we go into, I have Service Club, after school team club, so 180 kids, they either come before school or after school, and code, and we 3D design as early as 1st grade. So, and then our middle schools, anyway to tech, and then our project.
And do you teach the coding for the 1st grader? It's like, so it's a set class they go to.
No, we do it during your lab time. Okay. And then they get it after. Arlington.
Thank you.
Does anybody in here use the Google coding?
The first code.org.
Okay. Is that,
I personally did a little bit of it. I didn't.
okay, that's what I'm trying to for coding, so I guess I wanted to see what.
Is that really good because they use a lot of characters that the kids know.
It's good to know.
So they hop right into it usually.
Okay.
Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen, Minecraft, Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're trying to free training.
Mhm. And the PD's free too.
Oh, great.
So I actually went to Pittsburgh and did the code.org training. And you get a whole curriculum guide with it, like when you go to the training, so you get the curriculum guide and the map.
Yeah, they take, I mean, right, I mean, I was paid to take my airfare to Chicago when I went to do phone training.
Yeah, now they have. Usually like a 1 day K-5 program.
Yeah, that's the one we would do here, if that's
I
something
usually
that.
fill up pretty fast. So it's good to know.
Yeah, there's some signs right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joyce?
So we do, we do our whole week school-wide, K3, and at our 4 or 5, I can't speak for 6-12. That's, but kindergarten was a challenge at first, because even though the guys working has a lot of stuff, a lot of us very reading page, you have to read these from grade, always do that. There is a program called, not seen it from Spark, and it is free to teachers. If kids want to do it at home, parents have to pay for it, but it's not there's little characters. It's not reading based, it's all picture icon. And it's pretty robust. It says K-5, and it does get into conditional loops and if then statements, and it really does like challenge the logical side of your brain. But the kindergartners and first grades get on and do things without a problem during our meeting.
Can you spell that? What district?
It is only available during the week, right?
Nope, we use it all year long. And it's actually,
accessing it after that week is up.
and maybe because we went through code.org, and just goes, I think it's for. And actually the foods, and there's a small protein food that's free, that's also part of the SWIFT programming that Apple's pushing out. So when they talk about K-12 for Apple, they're not really using Apple products at the lower levels, they're using
I'm at a district, I'm at a Catholic school in Brunswick. We're a K-8 school, and we started doing a computer science class 3 years ago, once a week with our kids. So our younger kids are using Scratch with the coding. Actually, this year I had some of my older students approaching me, showing some of the animated videos that they were making in Scratch, which was pretty neat because they, you know, it wasn't something they were actually told to do. They were just on their own for end projects for some of their core classes. So our kindergartners are starting as young doing that. We have only Chromebooks, so we needed to find things that were compatible with Chromebooks because we don't have iPads and all of that going on. We also are doing, we just had a 3D printer donated to our school from one of our feeder high schools. So we have our kids starting in Tinkercad because they can do that on the Chromebooks, and then they can send me the STL files and I can print them for them. So like we have our art teacher working with them on doing some of her projects with that. Our kids we do the hour of code for the whole school K-8, so we'll get everybody on code.org and we'll do that. We also have 7th and 8th graders taking college credit plus classes with Stark State. So they do that during their coding class. We build in a screen time at the end of the day for our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to give them opportunities to do these types of projects, do some design challenges and things like that, that the school got grants for and things like that. So.
Down at OATC, there was a by Megan Kinsey about, and anything on iOS 11 is free, and they have coding curriculum from K to higher ed. And they're actually, Apple's working with Ohio State and creating the first institution in coding. And it's going to be open to student, staff, and public. It's supposed to be kicked off next year. If you have anybody in your district that's going to Ohio State, oh, I'm sorry, the Ohio State University.
There you go.
Any mainframe or satellite, part of their student fees are an iPad Pro. So they're going that direction. Going out there. They have an iBook.
Yeah.
On the Swift software that walks you through it. It's pretty self-explainable.
The Teacher Learning Center
Yep.
also has an entire PD for teachers to work through this SWIFT program and help you teach it too.
And it's free.
And it's free.
On your desk, on your table is a little card for ZT Learning. One of the sections, that's the website stuff. One of the sections under the content areas is on computer science and coding and things. So there's a whole set of links for a number of the sites that people are talking about today. So again, that's ZT Learning and then the content areas.
So what we did, a lot of what I'm hearing, we did during the hour of code, the stretch of the week, we achieved this, but we did K-12, an hour of code district-wide. So then along with that, after a few weeks after what we did, which I was amazed at the interest, we did a family coding night after school where parents could sign up to come in with their kids so the kids could show what they experienced. Due to Wi-Fi limitations, we had to limit the amount of people we could accept. And both elementaries filled up within an hour of the sign up going out. So something maybe interesting to try. I thought maybe there would be me and a couple of families, but it was quite well received. Green.
All right. Next topic, AR and VR in your school. So I think I was at OETC and there were a lot of sessions on AR, so there's definitely a big trend right now. And I think a little bit about what you have or what you're doing right now. And the big piece I think we should talk about is funding for these. Because I know just getting one VR kit, I think we were quoted at $10,000. So talking about funding opportunities as well. I know we had Barberton had a grant for their stuff, which is awesome. But if anyone else wants to share, I guess. Yeah.
We have a district-wide success grant that teachers can apply for one time during the year. I think they get $1,000, $1,500. Usually the building principal will also pitch in some money. So we had one group get a complete group of 10 VR goggles and then the router so they could do the Google expeditions or anything like that. So.
We're one of the lucky ones. We have a kit that arrived a few weeks ago at our elementary makerspace. We have 2 coming to our 4-5 buildings. We have 1.5 at our middle school building and 1. We actually are going to have VR kits K-12. We haven't had our PT yet. That's coming up in a few weeks. But our makerspace teacher K3 actually used the kids through the Olympics. The Olympics had their own VR experience, and the kids are pretty impressed. So we're very excited. And then there's also a beta. I'm going to get the details wrong, but it's Google. It's beta testing, create your own VR. And they're actually going to be dropping off a kid to our 4-5 school and teachers for 2 weeks to try to create their own VR.
Very cool. Very cool.
So we've been using the CoSpaces, which I know is going through an update right now. So a lot of my students created little online portfolios. They put their work in there and then came up. We have an end-of-the-year showcase and can come up and look at some of the work via we just cardboard work. They're fine. Some of my kids end up bringing their own because they're like, look, I got these cool ones. I'm like, yeah, they're $20. And then we've also done the Erasmus app has been renamed, and I've started playing a little bit of Metaverse. Those are all fun things you can use just with the devices the students have. They have their own smartphones. So, and that's just like, it's like a QR code, but with an image instead. So that's kind of, they really, it gets their attention. We don't do any of the Oculus Rift and things like that, because it's just like, you just choke when you hear how much the computer is alone to go with it.
CoSpaces is free anymore. Like used to have the maker that was free and then the EDU.
Yes.
And they, yeah, right after I got all of my middle schoolers excited about signing up for it, and we were doing a thing during lunch, and then I get the email saying that it's no longer available.
They merged the two.
They merged it. We have a 30-day free trial of the EDU, and then I told them use it till spring break, and then we'll find something else cool to do after lunch.
Anybody use Quiver? Quiver, the app for augmented reality. That's a neat app. Quiver and Quiver Masks. If you're familiar with College of Education at Walsh, they've delivered more than their fair share of presentations, both at ISTE last year and at OETC. And for the life of me, I'm going to forget it. But it's, I'm going to forget her name, and I apologize ahead of time. But they're doing some really cool things with VR and VR. I learned a lot at ISTE and shared with them Quiver. Quiver's got one creepy thing, but you do a coloring sheet and you shoot the image, and there's your head. All of a sudden you look up, I've colored the snowman. The snowman head is now me. And when I talk, my mouth moves. A little creepy, but all cool. It's augmented reality. It's a good start. So.
I just got a grant earlier in the year for VR system, a portable VR system, because yes, the computer is very expensive. It goes with it, but we're working with someone locally. He's actually one of my former students that I taught who started his own company. And he's an ed consultant. He helped me write it, but it's going to be able to go to the different classrooms, and it connects to your smart board so that the student that has a headset on can explore depending on what the topic is, and then it can be projected up onto whatever projection system that you have in your classroom. But then there's and so our production, we have a production elective. It also came with a 360-degree camera, and so he is going to show the students how to create video using that, and then they have already started a promo for the school, but they're also going to go around to local businesses to record 3D, just to make 3D recordings, and then offer it as a promo for their website if they want to put something on their website. So there's a little entrepreneurship that's going on there, but the grants was the only way that we could find to.
Ohio University is doing a lot with VR right now.
I went to their class at
Yes.
They do a lot of good.
They do a lot of, and what's interesting is on the PBS production side, think about this as you're working with your students. It adds a whole new production swing, because when I'm producing a virtual reality program, as a producer, I produce what's in front of me, right? Well, I'm in the VR world. There's a story here. There's a story here. There's a story here. So it changes that whole idea. So if you're working with your kids in video production, and the whole idea of I'm going to storyboard, it's what you see, what the camera sees. Their students, what story is that? What if I look this way and I go to the nation? What story is that? So it's a whole, that whole production side. I was there with a bunch of other PBS stations, and everything just exploded, because we're so used to the TV world, and I don't say it's my world, but we produce for what's in front of me, not here, over here, not over here, over here. So it's interesting. I know you've been kind of on the forefront of that.
We also have at the high school, we just got some B-Space things. We've had some tech issues with it. We've been trying to work with them to get it to cooperate, but the anatomy and physiology class uses it for the body systems, and the physics class has been using it a lot. So those are kind of neat. They'll come and do demos at your school if you want to see a demo.
They have a curriculum that's K-12 as well. It's not
Yes. And Chris, was that any grant funding with that, or was that just
that?
Just out of budget?
Yeah, I think there was a grant, and it's only at the high school. Like, we only bought the packages for like the bio one, and we were real selective of what we purchased because they were very expensive. But cool, the kids think it's really neat when it works.
The guys at OU showed us an augmented reality app that's free, and then you purchase the t-shirt for $20 for your students, and you probably only have to purchase it, they said, for half the class. They put the t-shirts on, and they're coded in a way that when you hold up the app using your iPad, it shows the inside layers of your abdomen. And so kids can study body systems by looking through the iPad. I told my principal I want to get those t-shirts. because that was the only cost. The app was free, but that was, as soon as the students found out about that, they were like, that would be. I didn't realize the app was free. And they said, you go on Amazon, you just pay $20. Although right now, the only thing they have is for the abdomen. They don't have any other, you know, clothing that you put on that you can see other, but it was cool enough.
Yeah.
Some of the groups talking about the cost of the VR stuff. We do a lot of research, and I've done a lot of research, obviously, with the startup of this. And there are kits for $10,000 where you can buy a classroom set of 20 of them or something, and they're, I think Google's packaging that stuff up. And that is extensive. And Oculus, obviously the laptops themselves are minimum $1,200 up to $2,500, depending on what you go with because of the graphics card prices. Oculus is about to drop, and I don't have the date on it yet. If you've ever used the Samsung Gear, or if you've seen a kid with the Samsung Gear where they put their phone in it, and you can get the one remote, it's like 120, 130 bucks. Plus, everybody needs a cell phone. Oculus is about to drop what's called the Oculus Go. The base price is $200. The standalone set with the one remote. It doesn't need a computer with a sensor. And it's going to have its own like app store and things like that, like you normally use for your iPhone or whatever. You don't need a phone to put in anymore. The base price, I think, for the 32 gigabytes is $200. Not sure yet. We're going to buy one as soon as they come out, just so we can test it, see what it's like. But that makes it a lot more affordable because you're looking at 15 of them for $3,000 plus, you know, the cost of apps and things like that. But it starts to bring it a little more real. But you don't. It's also limited as far as the immersive 3D. I mean, like you can look all around, but the interactive stuff is limited to a single remote where you have the headset aimed, you know, and selection process. But as far as your Google Expeditions and things like that, and your photospheres, that will should start to bring it, I think, a little more into education.
Sounds good. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, so our last topic, we'll have a few minutes, makerspaces is a hot topic. And I think most of our districts have something started in one of our buildings at least. But briefly, can we talk about some things that the students are using and loving, or maybe not using and not loving, so that we can save some money? So if we talk a lot about kind of things in the makerspace that are going really well, and things that you're like, okay, we need to kind of attack this differently, or this really wasn't, you know, what we expected it to be. Yes.
We were lucky enough to win a straight A grant the first round, and so we did a massive amount of work. And one of the things was to build a fab lab. And so at the high school, we have modeled it off of Keith Western's lab, and we didn't know what we were doing. And we were like, yeah, sure, we need that and that. So a couple of the feedback items, we bought two very large, very expensive, like $1,000 industry standard 3D printers, and they're great. But, you know, our project way teacher is like, I've got, you know, how many of your kids in the classroom, and it takes so long to print. He's like, I kind of wish we could buy lower end models and have them, because that's been a problem. Or have one of those, and then, you know, some others, just to have a variety. So that's feedback. One of the things we found out, we ended up buying another one, the engraver. They're really using the laser engraver, and our business class at the high school is runs the JA company program, and they have started using a lot of the things in the Fab Lab to build their own products and sell them. So we have a lot of classes dropping down and getting involved using the equipment, and it's going really well. We have a version, a smaller, a little bit of a version in our middle school that one of our grade 3 through 5 buildings kind of gotten some maker bots and started some makerspace type activities down there. So it's been a really good experience. It's been really cool to see if we get hands-on. The other twist that we did was we changed our library spaces. We called it the spot at NQ for brain-based learning. We had about 50 days we went through trying to find something. But anyway, we took spaces in the library and made them. We have a tinker tank where we just have games, and because it was a very hard thing to get the teachers to understand
understand that you didn't have to have a lesson to go along with this, that kids can come in and work together collaboratively and just design their own things that they want to do. So we made the spaces available. We have a science area where, you know how they use some of the kids in science class and they may be really interested in it, but then when that unit's over, all that stuff goes back into storage. We tried to do some of that out so our kids could, you know, kind of still play around with that. And then we created a sound and video lab. So we have a full-blown like music production studio and a video studio with a green screen. We have a very large video production program, but this is more for class projects down and use the space. The usership of the library literally just skyrocketed because the kids were coming down on their own. You know, usually it was just the English classes bringing them down for a research project or something, but now that they're able to come down and use all those spaces, just blown it wide open. So very cool.
All right, if you have any other topics or ideas that you want to mention, if you can put those in the agenda that Heather shared out, and those links, if you shared out a website or a link, if you could just drop that link or that URL in that agenda, that would be helpful too, so that we have kind of a running document. And we can go back and share that with the powers that be in our district. So thank you so much for letting me do this. It was good. Thank you.
Okay, so lunch is coming soon. This is a table activity. So what I think like a lot of you know ETC, right? Yes, no, hands up. Good group. Okay. So now is just like you share personal things with your table. What some OETC takeaways? What were your things? We're kind of sharing things. And then we'll go around. So we have a little bit of time now. So food will be coming. And then we'll also we'll be able to go next door and have Jackie and show you some of their products. So you can go ahead and talk about maybe some of your favorite things that you got out of OETC or like a lot.
Good group, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some quick takeaways, share with your group and share them back out.
Yeah, take a few minutes because we've been really quiet. And I feel like we need to do some more talking. Talk about good technology. Go to TC or here, whatever.
We'd have to go back. Now we're on here. I don't know.
Are they eating in here?
Two more minutes. Maybe they'll hear me. They have the agenda That was a really good secret that you told me. Nobody comes out.
Even if you didn't get a chance to go to OETC, in the agenda that is shared at the beginning, I dropped a link that has all of the presentation materials. So if you don't feel like searching for them, just go to the agenda and click on it. It's right there. So if a person who was presenting, allowed their materials to be either in the app or on the website, then you can find that link, and you can feel like you went to OETC.
Could you email out the agenda?
Yeah, I can. I can email any. I can email them. That'd be great. Anybody else have any from the conference that other people would
Did anyone go to the playgrounds? The playgrounds that were out front? Did anyone go? Anyone? You can tell people on the website. Just get the feel. There was lots of people when they were on the maker side of things. Did you see them at all? Like nod, yes. Okay. No one ever. They were packed. Lots of folks, lots of kids. They're hoping to add. OETC's hoping to add. How many folks have been to ISTE? Okay. Very similar to the playground where you can kind of just. It's not a formal presentation. You go to a location and you kind of learn a little bit, talk to some folks. They're hoping to do, you might see more and more of those at OETC in the future. But considering the response from 51 people, I'm not sure whether I want to say anything.
Yes.
Yeah. We were just talking at our table. I was at OETC, which is over here. But I have to say that a lot of the sessions were very tech-director heavy and networking background, all the background stuff, student privacy, etc. The sessions that were teacher-related were packed out. I got ones out of ones. Honestly, we have good people that are building that are doing good things in the classroom. You have to have them submit to present because I feel like next year, this is how our district is feeling right now about meantime, is that there's not enough submissions for our teachers to send teacher teams. So honestly, this year this was the smallest we've ever sent. We only sent 2, and I was one of the 2. So if you have great things happening, I know we had a sand table presentation where they hooked it up to a PlayStation and did a sand table. It was completely interactive. It was full. I think that's something that if you have great people that are doing great things and it sounds like there are great things happening, please have them submit because I think you're desperate for that stuff.
They didn't ask me.
I emailed when I got back.
That was-
I was like, you have left out a lot of.
But keep in mind, that's that correlation, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but this year was the first year that we integrated codes. And that codes is more of a tech director. I think some emails were getting confused between what we wanted, and because on the ITIP side, as well as the EdTech agency side, I'm always looking for folks to present. And in fact, Heather and I talked about and we've had folks call us about what their presentation wasn't accepted. So we're going to try to work the program next year. We're probably going to do it through Northeast TILO, where if you guys get locked out, or we begin to do presentations, we can funnel them through the EdTech agency. That's us.
Thing that declined the past couple of years is that, so.
You've got a really big arm on it.
Like, I mean, I've tried to present probably for 3 years, and I get booted out because they don't want my type of presentation that deals with that kind of stuff, because they want the higher level stuff.
But they Google.
They were, because I was on the floor, and I think the thing is, like, it's all, but I'll say it too, I'm starting to learn, because I did a presentation this year, but it was affiliated with a small business part of their school. It's who you know. At OETC, it's all who you know. They didn't recognize my company. They recognized the small business affiliation with the Ohio Board of Regents, and so they got to present.
If you want a teacher centered, like from the classrooms,
Or NEOTech or NEOTech or any of them. We went from 12 last year to 10 to 5 this year.
Yep.
I'm not wasting my time or money. I'd rather pay subs and go to NEOTech, which is all teacher-based stuff.
Yep.
And it's free.
And
we registered.
And I have a lot of skin in the game, but also the Google conference. We've always been cognizant, literally presenting. First of all, and I'll say this next time, if a vendor submits a presentation to the Google Summit, there's not even a consideration. And that's always been that way. I mean, we flirt with that. Now, a vendor provides a sponsor of something, they can take a presentation, but all of our stuff really is teacher-led, much like exactly like NEOTech. It's led by and I always wanted that conference to be that way, and it continues to be that way.
Yeah, let me mention something about the two conferences, because I've been involved in both of those, both NEOTech and Spark. Definitely, when the time comes to present, make sure you put in proposals. A lot of people complain they get locked out and get that. If you're presenting, you're going to get in. Sure. But Eric's going to be posting probably in the next week or two. They're be putting up the information that they're looking for presenters for the Spark conference in August. And again, we did nothing. We did nothing. They were in every meeting. Vendors we designated that way so that they would be able to do that. And we spent a lot of time after the conference going over every single person that responded as far as figuring out whether we wanted to reuse those same presenters or same topics next year. And we got the ridiculous number of presentations were going on at that conference. We wanted to be able to very, very, very important people who presented at this conference. And it doesn't have to be just one person. Get a group of people together to present at that conference. Get your people out there presenting. And really, to tell you the truth, I learned a lot more from them than I ever do attending. It's really good to present at these conferences.
Anthony makes a great point is, well, what you run into with the Google Summit is it's much like voting in Chicago, right? Present early and often. That's what I would recommend, because you get a lot of people that wait till the very last minute. And in all honesty, you start working your way out. Like I said, we have 154 proposals. You start working your way through, you get to 130 and you're starting to blank, kind of blank out. So get their presentations while fresh in their mind. Just like with Neo, just like with Spark. Because we're probably going to need to get on to some other stuff here. So.
OETC. I know Dave involved is responsible. And it isn't just by name. he has a lot of dictates to some of the things he has to do, some of the areas they have to focus on. The conference has multiple people that try to serve higher ed, those are things here. So there's a lot of groups that are supposed to serve in that process.
Take one more thought.
I noticed it was very vendor heavy. I think it changed from that this year a little bit. I didn't notice as many vendor sessions, but I scored. So this year was the first time I've ever I was one of the people that got to see the presentations and score them. But I could not get over the fact that the rubric did not match the presentation. You can allow your stuff. So I got sent a rubric, and then you get sent the presentation. And I had a really difficult time because they didn't match. And so I wonder if that's how sometimes these presentations either get picked or not picked, because I mean it was just a really difficult experience.
The peer review in the last couple of years. FETC has been doing that for many years. Every FETC session has 40 people.
Say I did the same too, leading up to the conference, and it's so weird because it's like on a 10-point scale, do this, but the rubric doesn't go with the questions that they're asking you to submit, and so it's like, well, I don't, you know. I don't know what
No,
yeah,
25 points.
Exactly. Really, doesn't go together.
All right. So Jeff, let's bring in the pizza. One last thing. Enter this in the meeting notes. One for one per table. You can talk about this or whatever. What topics would you like to see covered in May? Maybe. All right, we'll get to all of them. But you guys are driving this through. So have ideas. Put them in the meeting notes. Edit form in there. If you want to present something, indicate that with your name or something. It's not a big deal.
Angela came up here, she wasn't really expecting to get up, stand up, but I did.
It's pretty easy, it's not too bad. If you have something that is going well for you and you would like to present, or a topic that you want covered, put in some of those topics, because that's help drive where we go next. That's what you're working on right now. And anyone interested, and then there's a feedback thing. So the little thing, and it's just going to tell us how the day went, so we can shape it, make it better for next time. When the food's in here, you guys are welcome to get up and eating. Jackie's going to come over and just briefly tell you real quick about the toys, tech toys, Jack and robots and different things they have. So you can eat. And take food, run. You can go play or eat here and then go play, vice versa. Or you can wait, get their food and you go play. So while you're running your meeting, he's going to bring in the food. I'm going to go get Jackie, and she might just tell you a couple things she has here. You don't have to say this is just a little extra playtime. Anybody wants to stay and do that. Now is your turn to tell me where we're going next.
Hold on, here's the big money. Much more important. Because of the popularity, here's the kid. We're going to get exercise while we're on food. Here's your plate. Here's your water. Fruit punch. Over here, there's cups. There's chips here, and there's cookies. But then take your plate right around the corner there. There's 4 types of pizzas. And salad dressing. So we're going to get some exercise, right? And then find, because we've got stuff under here, and I don't want to mess up with you. So yeah, find your seat and enjoy your lunch and do all your other things. How's that?
Yeah. So if you want me to dismiss my tables, I can. You want it, or you can do it on your own.
Next hour, we have some playlists together.